Kia, movement that inspires.
Hey guys, I'm at AMC Hawthorn in Vernon Hills, Illinois to see the new horror film called, Final Destination Bloodlines. Are they going to ever end this franchise? I don't know, but I've heard good things, so I've only seen the trailer, have not read the reviews, but I've heard from other people they literally liked it, so I'm excited to see it, and I'll let you know what I think on the other side. Take care, guys.
We'd like to take a moment to recognize our investors and to thank our millions of AMC Stubs members. Movies are better with rewards, and AMC Stubs has options for everyone. If you're not a member, join Insider for free to earn points toward $5 rewards and save weekly on Discount Tuesdays. Upgrade to Premier. Is not golden. Keep it golden. And don't forget to silence your phone.
Drinks all around. Family, you don't get to pick the one you get. Just gotta love the one you got.
I always knew this day would come.
I got it.
I don't think you got it.
I held him off for years.
Charlie, get up here.
He's a relentless son of a bitch. Won't stop till he finishes the job. Death is coming for our family.
I said, oh, 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 oh.
Grandma, what's happening to us?
Years ago, I had a premonition that started it all. I saw what death was about to do. I saved a lot of lives that night.
Everyone needs to get off the dance floor!
Lives that were never meant to be saved. But death doesn't like it when you mess with his plans. This book, it will show you everything you need to know to keep our family safe.
It all started with Grandma. Death is coming for us because we were never supposed to exist. Watch out!
Only by embracing death will it pass you by.
Maybe Death's not actually coming for our family. Because that would be crazy.
Good luck.
just got back from seeing the new Final Destination movie called Final Destination Bloodlines. So I was kind of worried that being another Final Destination film, I don't know, are we up to 6 or 7? It might be derivative. It might be exactly just another follow-up of the other movies that have been done over and over again. Luckily, good news, it wasn't. There's new directors on this film, Bloodlines, Final Destination Bloodlines, and they decided to take a fresh approach to it. They decided not to follow the previous entries into this film franchise characters. They started with a different family. So the premise is, how is Death Designs going to affect this new family storyline, which I think is interesting. Because now it feels fresh, it feels not, the same, it's not the same characters that you've seen over and over and over again. And so there really is no great connection between this new installment and the previous entries in the franchise. Actually, I'm telling a lie. There's one connection, and it's the person, if you've ever watched the previous Final Destination movies, it's the person who lives or who works in the morgue. And if you know the name of my channel, it's the Candyman, and it was named after one of my brother's favorite horror movies. And who does it star? Tony Todd. And Tony Todd is also a character in this new Final Destination movie. He's been in most of the previous Final Destination movies. He seems to have this intuitive sense about death and how death works and death's plans. And so all the characters end up talking to him at some point in the film to see if they can get over this type of death curse. And I think his name is William John Bloodworth. And his character actually is part of the premonition this time. So let's go back to this actual story. So the story takes place in the 1960s. So there's this couple, Iris and Paul, who are going to the grand opening of this great new restaurant called the Skyview Restaurant Tower. It's a tower that seems hundreds of feet up in the air, and there's a restaurant on top. And the restaurant up top has live music. It has a glass dance floor and an observation deck outside, in addition to the restaurant tables for people to dine in. So it's very select group, and so Iris and Paul, being young, I think in their, young 20s, Paul pulled some strings and was able to get up to this restaurant. Well, as you can imagine, it's a Final Destination movie, so bad things are going to happen. I'm not going to tell you everything that's going to happen because that would be too many spoilers. But what does happen is tragedy. Think about tragedy in the Skyview Terrace and what could potentially happen. Think 9/11, think of the things that happened in the tower. So there's a lot of tragedy that occurs. But what ends up happening is Iris is the one who has this premonition. If you know the Final Destination movies, there's always one character who has a premonition and saves a lot of people, and she's the one who had the premonition. She said that she told everyone what was about to happen. Some people didn't believe her, but she would say, get off the dance floor, get off the dance floor, and everyone started rushing, and then the dance floor collapsed, so they saw that what she was saying was true. But she saved hundreds of lives that night, and guess what happened? Of course, if you know the premise of the other Final Destination movies, death never likes to be cheated out of its quota of dead people, of killing so many people. And when someone saves other people, death tries to correct that. And so this is happening in the 1960s, and there's a 60-year period. But the grandmother Iris followed and tried to figure out what death was doing, because she started seeing the people she saved die in very violent ways. So death never is satisfied just to kill you off if his plan was disrupted. He needs to kill you off in one of the most violent ways possible. And she kept seeing death do this over 6 decades. And so she kept a scrapbook, a notebook, that details what death does when they're trying to kill someone. So she's had 60 years to study. And it's just been frustrating for her because she saved these people for a reason, so they didn't die. And to see them die a second time is almost like, it's just more hurtful to her. Well, let's jump 60 years into the future. So we are at this college. We see this student, it's late night. This student named Stephanie is having trouble sleeping. It's the granddaughter of Iris. recurring nightmare. She keeps reliving the night her grandmother Iris was at that Skyview restaurant tower and saved hundreds of people. She's having the premonition now. She's dreaming the premonition that her grandmother had, and it's ruining her life. In high school, she was a straight A student. She got a scholarship to go to college, and now she's on academic probation. She can't focus because this dream is keeping her from sleeping. And so she needs to find a way. She does not want to flunk out of college. I mean, she's a brilliant person, and for this dream to take over her life that way, she's losing control. So her roommate actually suggests, why don't you go home, talk to your family? So Stephanie decides to talk to her estranged grandmother Iris, because Iris has broken contact with most of the family. So I don't think Stephanie has seen her since she was a child. And so she has to do some work to even find out. No one wants to talk about where Iris is actually living. She's estranged from not only her son, but her daughter. So she has no connections, and no one wants to tell Stephanie where Iris is because they just call her a crazy lady. And so she does some homework. Stephanie does some homework and finds out where Iris is living. Iris is living in this bunker. She's like created this whole compound. Think of Waco, Texas, and the Branch Davidians. This Waco-like compound where you can't get inside the gate. There's things keeping everyone out. And she's hasn't left the house in probably over 20 years. And so when Stephanie knocks on the gate and has that intercom, of course she probably had groceries delivered. So someone's probably always leaving something, coming in, leaving it at the door, and she just takes it inside. So she hasn't gone outside her house, but I'm sure someone's leaving food deliveries and things. But Stephanie, the granddaughter, buzzes, and the grandmother answers, says, "Don't you read the signs? The sign says, stay out, and that means you, everyone. Stay out of this area. I don't want to talk to anyone." So Stephanie has to explain to Iris, look, I need to talk to you. Something's happening. And the grandmother's saying, no, go away. And then she says, I'm your granddaughter, Stephanie. And then all of a sudden you hear this pause, and Iris realizes, because she knows Stephanie's name, she says, oh, Stephanie, lets her in. She says, leave your cell phone, leave your keys, and everything in this lockbox before you even come in the gate. Like, I don't want it with you. And so Stephanie's like, what? Why? I don't understand this. So she does it as the grandmother asked. She walks through this gated area. There's a long yard to the front door. The grandmother opens the front door and lets her in and says, sit here. Let me give you a chair. Sit here. But don't touch anything. The whole house has been rigged to protect Iris because she's seen all these people die. And she's one of the last people who will die, because what death does is it kind of kills people in the order they were supposed to die. And so she was one of the last ones. She and a little boy that she saved were one of the last ones. And it's kind of interesting because she knows she's going to die, and so she's become a recluse. She doesn't want to go out. She wants to stay home because she doesn't want death to kill her. She still has a purpose in living. She doesn't want to die. She's not suicidal. And so she says, you're the last person. I'm going to die. And I just found out I have a cancer. I was just diagnosed with terminal cancer. I'm going to die in a few months anyway. And I think that's why she was so eager to reach out to Stephanie. She's told her, you're the person who has to guard our family now, because if I die, everyone in my family will die because of me. Everyone's blood related, not by marriage, but blood related will die. Because that's what death does. If you were supposed to die originally, and then you had children, well, they weren't supposed to be here, so they have to die too. And so that's the premise. It's your bloodline. So Iris saved hundreds of people, but because she's going to die from cancer or whatever, or by death's design, or whatever he rigs up for her, then everyone, her daughter will die, her son will die, her grandchildren will die. And there's four grandchildren. And so she wants Stephanie to take over the role. She gives her the notebook, shoves the notebook in her, says, everything I know is in here. And Stephanie's saying, look, I just came from college. I want you to tell me what's going on. She says, the premonition was real. I saved hundreds of people. And death just started killing him. She saw all the scrap paper from the newspapers that Iris had been collecting. Stephanie says, "You don't believe me. Well, I'm going to die anyway from cancer, so I'm going to do this, and I have not been outside the house." She says, "Look at this," because Iris had started walking towards the front door. Stephanie had already backed out because she was trying to get to her car, which is outside the gate, because she said, "This is a crazy woman. And she's my grandmother, but maybe everyone else is right. She is crazy." So she's halfway in the yard. Iris, the grandmother, comes out, walks out into the middle of the yard and says, "Look, you won't believe me until you see this for yourself." And literally, it took, like, you could see the wind blowing. How death does things, it's almost like a domino effect, almost like the better mousetrap. And so you see things start moving, the winds start blowing, and then all of a sudden, like within 30 seconds, you see this sharp metal object go straight through Iris's head. And the blood, because Stephanie's standing right in front of her grandmother Iris, the blood splatters all over Iris from the kill. And so Stephanie's in shock. I mean, literally in shock. She just saw her grandmother killed and the blood spilled all over her. And so she can't deny what she just experienced. And so she believes it. She takes the book and she tries to tell her family. Her family is, in denial because, first of all, they're estranged from the grandmother. And they think she's just, too emotional, that she's been too emotional and it's not really happening. But then guess what? Stephanie's uncle, Harold, dies, and that's the direct son of Iris. So it's one of these things where it takes time. I'm not going to give you all the spoil the entire movie. It takes time for everyone to get on board. But what you expect from a Final Destination movie is that you're going to see kill by the numbers. That's how every Final Destination movie is, and it's going through Iris's bloodline. And I won't give you the other spoiler because let's just say the boy that Iris rescued is related to one of the main characters that I talked about at the beginning of this review. And I'm dedicating this review to Tony Todd, who passed away in 2024. But you can see where the connection could be between Iris and the previous movies. It's through the Tony Todd character at the morgue. But it's really interesting. So one thing, I really like the movie. I like the characters. I like how they created a fresh direction dealing with a different family and not rehashing the previous characters from previous installments in this franchise. But what I will say, even though it was kill by numbers, all of the kills, or say 90% of the kills, were ripped from other horror films, even previous Final Destination films. So that surprised me. I was actually thinking, wow, this is kind of lazy. If you didn't know the other films, then you don't see it. So sometimes I have a problem with whether something's an homage, or is this actually just, lazy screenwriting? Because, yes, you can say, oh, this is an homage to previous works, but then it's like you just literally copied what they did. And so it's this lazy screenwriting. If you didn't know the previous movies, then you wouldn't care. But I do know the previous movies, and so I kept seeing this is kind of lazy. It's almost like saying to the teacher, I finished my homework, but I used ChatGPT. It's one of those things where, are you just too lazy? You're doing a cut and paste approach, and then call it an homage because you had no better ideas. So I don't know. I'm going to give it a thumbs up because I really liked the character development. I think having a fresh story made it interesting, and I can see why it's getting high ratings now. But the tacky, lazy screenwriting that I saw for the type of kills and the detail that seemed to copy from other films, I didn't like that. But I would say go see it. Forget about what I just said about the cut and paste. It's an enjoyable movie if you don't think about that issue. And I hope you actually go see it in the movie theater. I think it's better to see it on a larger screen. Well, it's my Memorial Day, it's my vacation, and I think I'm going to Six Flags Great America today, just to get some walks in and then maybe ride a couple of rides. But it's my vacation, and I hope you like this review. Please let me know if you actually went to go see Final Destination Bloodlines, and leave a comment below. I am horrible at responding to comments. It might take me a few weeks, but I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great weekend. Take care, guys, and I'll see you at the movies.
Welcome to the Candyman Can YouTube channel. I am Eva, the channel's talking avatar. Please like and subscribe so that you receive notifications about any new content. And definitely, share with your friends.